Hey guys, welcome to the Forge. Today's video we're going to try to refurbish a Chinese Bowie knife that belongs to a friend of mine. He brought it to me and this was kind of what we had. This right here was actually the tang. There's a little notch in the steel right here. This tang only came to right here, and there was a little notch in there, and this was welded in there as such. And then this, I don't even know what this is. I think this was a file handle, but it was just kind of jammed on there. You know, it had this guard here, had this guard on it, and it was pretty messed up. I've cleaned it up a little bit. We'll clean it up better than that. And then this here went where the pommel is, and then this little nut, this little pommel nut on the end of it. I went ahead. Now this is supposed to be 440 stainless, which it probably is, but yet the magnet sticks to it, so it's not like pure stainless. And I was able to weld this extension to the tang. I notched out a piece of steel that I had forged out and tried to make it the same thickness and everything. And I was able to weld that on there with just my MIG welder. No argon or anything like that, nothing special. And the welds took pretty well. So I'm thinking that this isn't the greatest stainless in the world. It doesn't have a lot of, the temper doesn't seem very well on it. So we're going to try and experiment with this knife. He doesn't even know where he got it. He doesn't even remember where he got it. It was like, I think it's like one of those $20, you know, swap meet knives made in China. I know it was made in China because it said made in China on the sides. But I ground all of that off and kind of cleaned up the sides a little. We're gonna try a little experiment here. I'm gonna go ahead and fit the tang with a handle and get my holes drilled. Now, I've annealed this steel. This is 5160 that I extended the tang with, and I annealed it yesterday. And we're going to go ahead and see if I can drill that, because I've come to find I make most of my knives out of 5160 leaf spring steel, and I've come to find that just after working it in the forge and doing a little initial grinding on it, I can't drill it. I have to reheat it. So I've reheated this and annealed it. Hopefully I'll be able to drill it, but we need to get the handle finished. I've got some wood glued up that I'm going to make the handle out of, and I need to get that finished and in place and make sure everything, get the fitment right and all of that, so that I can, I'm going to go ahead and pin it also. So that way I can drill some pinholes, and but I have to have the handle on it to drill my pinholes, so I can drill through the handle and the tang at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and work on the fitting the wood to the tang that I have made, and we'll pick it up from there. So here we have the piece of wood that I've glued two different pieces of types of wood. I believe this is redwood, and I believe this to be oak. They're very hard woods. So, and then I just kind of sanded this side to kind of see what it was going to look like. And so I think that'll make a nice handle. But what we've got to do now is get us a hole down in through there to fit our tang in, and so let's work on that a little bit. Let's go ahead and drill some holes in here and do a little filing and working and see if we can't, if the tang is a little bit long, I may have to burn the end of it in the rest of the way. I don't think I can drill that deep with the bits that I have, but okay, so we've got our drill press set up here, and I've marked the slot where I want the tang to go. So we'll see if we can't, oh wait a minute, what's going on with my drill bit? Why is that all spinning lopsided? Let's see. I can't seat it up in there really deeply because I need to get all the penetration I can out of this short bit that I have to get as deep into that handle as I can. That's better. So let's see if we can drill a few holes in here and get this ready to well, that drill bit's wanting to walk around on me, but there we go. Get down in there now. So that's as deep as it's going to go, right to there. Which I don't know how that's going to work. I don't do hidden tangs. I like a full tang on the knives that I make, and so I just don't generally do a full tang. And that drill bit's wanting to walk around on me there. I'm going to have to, I don't have a clamp for my drill press, so I'm going to have to notch this out a little bit so the drill won't walk around, and we'll come right back. Okay, so I just cut a small notch in there with the angle grinder so to keep the drill bit from wandering around, and let's see how that works. Still wanting to walk around on me a little here. Let's move a little this way. There we go. Well, that's not really working out the way I wanted it to. That drill bit, you know, it bends and moves around quite easily, and it's a smaller bit. I don't know how we're going to get this drilled in there so that the tang will fit in there properly. I'm going to have to figure something out, so we'll be right back. It's getting a little warmer than I'd like. Better throw a glove on here. But it is burning in there. And I've heard, you know, that this is not a good idea, that you end up with all that carbon and what have you up inside when you do that. But I couldn't get it to drill properly, so we're going to try it this way. I'm going to throw this in the forge and heat it up just a little bit more, and we'll be okay. We got her hot again. We've hit a roadblock in there, so I think what I'm going to have to do is drill this out a little bit more. I just do whatever I have to do to make something work, you know. So my drill press, my drill bits just aren't long enough to drill that out deeply enough to fit the whole tang in. So I drilled it out what I could, but as I was putting the handle on, material moves ahead of that handle as it's burning on there, and it created a stopper, so I had to drill that mess out of there again a little bit. Now I think we'll be able to get it on down on there, you know, a little farther. Let's see if that metal's hot. And our metal's hot. Let's see what happens here. Boy, that's really a tough go. It's working. It's going a little. Slowly but surely. But I'm going to have to drill this out again a little bit more. And try that. Alright, we'll heat this tang up again. And we'll go from there. And we got our tang hot again. See if we can get some more distance out of this thing. I don't know, we may have to start all over on this handle and figure something else out, because it just doesn't seem to want to burn down on there any better. We're not gaining anything anymore. And it's kind of burning up my wood on the end here. You know what I may end up having to do is I may end up having to make a solid wood block, sort of like I did with this, rip it down the center, and chisel out the area, you know, from both sides of the wood, and just fit it that way, and then glue the two scales together like you would on a full tang. Because I don't think this is going to work. This tang is too blunt on the end, you know, to get it to burn in there right, and I want to leave it as big as it is for strength. So I think we're going to have to do it that way. So I'm going to make a new, I'll make a new set of scales for it, and we'll just chisel out the shape of the tang out of each scale to where we can just put it together like a full tang knife. And because this is, you can see how burnt up the end of this wood is getting, and I'm afraid it's pretty much ruining my wood anyway. So we're kind of going to go back to square one and start over. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. We'll call it part one, and when I get another set of scales made and get this to where it'll see, and I slipped up on the drill press as I was working this up and down on the drill, and I let my drill bit poke out the side of this anyway, so they kind of ruined that right there. I could have put some filler in there or something, and, you know, put that on the bottom of the tang or whatever, but I'd rather not have a slip up like that and a hole in my handle anyway. So we're going to make a new one of these, and we're going to split it, chisel it, fit it to the handle that way, and that'll make it easier to drill our tang holes and all of that anyway. So watch for another video. We'll be back with a new video with a number 2, retrying the tang debacle, the handle debacle on this Chinese Bowie knife. We'll see you next time.